We're live. We're live. Hello, hello. It started doing that spinny thing, guys. I can't stand that spinny thing. Hello, happy Sunday. I see Chloe and Lori are in the house. Hello, ladies. Um, man, so this message today, I actually might have to keep it a little bit brief, and it is about perception as we go further towards this 5D consciousness. Um, I might have to keep it a bit brief because I am still on antibiotics and it makes me a little loopy. And tonight I am teaching the first of the spiritual development courses on Patreon. So I'm trying to reserve more of my energy for that. The link is in the description. Become a patron. Pardon, my mint was still in my mouth. And everybody chose to start the classes with higher frequency. And that's where we're going to start. So right after this, I'm actually putting the link together for everybody or getting everything going. And I will be sending everyone an email with some charts for the class. So if you're interested, join me tonight if you can get there, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be a good time. It's a nice, lovely group that's forming. And tonight's going to be good. Tonight will be real good. So I'm kind of preserving, yes, some of my energy for that instead. Yeah, let me get through some announcements. So join us on Patreon, the spiritual development courses. The link is in the description. It's either $5 or $8. I'm not trying to break nobody's bank. But I'm trying to put a little bit in mine, Join me if you can physically at Natural New Earth Market in Ringgold, Georgia, just under Chattanooga, September 9th through the 11th. For all my locals that listen here, thank you for listening. That event is on its way. And so speaking of that, I am one busy beaver. That's why nobody has seen me. Unless you've been here, I have not been in any chats. I have not been able to call people. I mean, I am one little busy beaver. So I will not be doing a weekly goal next Sunday. It's Labor Day weekend here in the States. That was a huge holiday for me growing up, and I will tell you, my dad will probably kick my butt knowing that I will most likely be working on Labor Day. He would kick my butt if he knew that. And then the next Sunday is the event. So I do not believe I will be here the next 2 Sundays. Guys, I got too much going on. Too much going on. I'm a mover and a shaker, right? A lot to handle. I will be here though this coming Friday for Toth Revealed on Friday, not the following Friday. I will put this all somewhere and I'll remind people. So that this coming Friday, I will be here. The following Friday, I won't be. I will be setting up the room for the event. I will be busy, busy, busy. And all the other times, I will be in and out of the YouTube whenever I can. I will be doing an Akashic Records reading, collective, and zodiac signs, sun signs, moon signs. That is always posted early for my Patreons. My Patreons are now starting their class tonight. They get all the Akashic Record readings early. So you might want to think about it. And Susie, I see you here, darling. I sent you a message. I need your email, darling. I don't have your email for tonight. So thank you. You can send it to Stars of the Morning Light at gmail.com. That's one word, Stars of the Morning Light. The email should be below as well in the description. Okay. And if you like what you hear here, what you see here, you can always donate with PayPal below. The Buy Me a Coffee is strictly for resources, books, PDFs, maybe one day a new computer here so I don't have this weird blue screen. But the PayPal, I will say, goes to me. It does. It puts, food on the table. So I appreciate you all. Oh my goodness. And I hope everybody's doing okay. Let's talk for a minute. Let's just, right? Nice exhale. That new moon, all of the energy happening. I did do energy updates through August, and I know the last one, I've gotten good responses of that people needed to hear that at the time. Yes, everyone. So starting probably last Thursday into, let's just say this Thursday, let's just for safekeeping. This energy, man, it is powerful. It is dynamic. It is a force. And it being the new moon in Virgo, it is very much trying to say, hey, what do you want to call in? Do you want prosperity? I can make it happen. Do you want more grounding and balance and friendship and whatnot? I can make it happen. At the same time, though, there's a lot of energy that's being presented, as I said in the video previous, of, wow, this is coming out of nowhere. People feeling just overwhelmed and not being able to put a finger as to what is overwhelming them. I mean, anxiety, stress, feeling overwhelmed, but why? Nothing that bad is really happening. Nothing big is actually really happening. I can take these little baby steps. I can gently, as we talked last Sunday, surrender into just trusting the process, into, okay, if I stay focused and just do little baby steps, not big strides right now, I'm okay. But yet, overwhelmed, right? Where did it's the energy. It's energy that's going to play out for about, 4 or 5 days. Let's say 6, just to make sure we're clear of it. Yeah, that is presenting itself, that there's situations, people, conversations, goals that we feel like we need to achieve, like right now, but have no clue how to achieve. Or just overwhelming and exhaustion. Most of us, most humans, beings, you beautiful star beings, feeling exhausted and not really understanding why. It's because August was a lot, ladies and gentlemen. August was a lot. And I tried bringing us through it as best as I could, but let's really understand what was going on, because we're about to head into September. And that's why also of today's message, this will tie in today's message. So all of August, if people were aware of it or not, right, we've been kind of floating in these waters of creation, as I talk about, and waters of possibility, and waters of this, and waters of that, and just, whoa, nothing's really tangible. Nothing's really, I can't see my sights too clear, but I know there's something I want. I know I want the betterment of all man. Waters, and in August, those waters, as we're just treading, as we're trying to keep our head above the water, right, start getting very rocky. That's when we were talking about people's egos. That's when we started talking about, like last weekend, like, guys, we got to pull back. We got to pull back, because if not, we're going to drown. We don't need to drown. We actually need to float with this rockiness. And the rocky waters have subsided some, but it's as if we're still in recovery from it. Like, oh, I was treading water so hard in these very dense, thick, rocky, knocking me around waters that I haven't even caught my breath. I haven't even been able to refocus. And now I just feel overwhelmed, as if what happened, and as time's moving so fast and these time shifts, we're all feeling this way. We are. And then the new moon says, hey, I can give you whatever you want. You better focus on what you want, because I'm going to present a whole bunch of weird stuff, because now it's choice. It is still very, very, very much choice and how we want to perceive things. Hence today's message. Set your intentions. You can still do that today. Set your intention, especially if you're here in the Northern Hemisphere in the States, of what do you want to call into your life. You all of us here are extremely deserving, extremely worthy. You were born. You are here. There in itself makes you worthy and deserving of all greatness. That flame that lives within you, worthy of all greatness. Yeah, that's what we've been going through. It is. And we are going to persevere. We are going to, these waters will, towards the end of September, especially at the equinox, there will be an anchoring. There will be a calmness. At the same time, remember, we're birthing, guys. We are birthing creation. So it's kind of, like I said before in many videos, before birth happens and the contractions are there and people are, in pain, in confusion, whew, and that baby's just moving around all that water, knocking into the side of things, doing what it wants to do, saying, get me the hell out of here. That's what we've been in. Because we are creating, we are creating, we are creating. And yes, that all those waters of creation, what we birth, will be birthed. End of September into October. It kind of changes a bit for everybody, but it's coming. So yeah, we are in that pre-birth phase that it's like, whoo, on top of a lot of retrograde. I personally don't mind retrograde, but a lot of people it affects. It affects a lot of people. So let's go with that concept, because we're going into 5D. That's really what we're birthing here, folks. 5D consciousness, 5D new earth, 5D compassion. That's what we're trying to birth, right? Well, I'm hoping so. And if we are in that last few stages, and I keep saying just stay focused, just stay focused, even though everything's kind of coming at us going, oh, but what about this over here? What about that over here? What if? I mean, I learned a long 3 decades ago that the world becomes consumed with the what if. But yet none of those what ifs are actually happening. Isn't that fascinating? So if we are trying to birth and we're trying to create form out of the formless, then we need to have our perception right. We need to see. I want to talk real quick about the card that we pulled. I figured the Sacred Geometry deck, was going to give me the perception card, because we get that often, don't we? But it didn't. It didn't give me that card. It gave me number 30, integration. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in balanced symphony of life. Whoa. I will hold it up and I'm going to read that again. Whoa. And oh my goodness, look at all the pyramids happening there. Integration. What we perceive as aspects of ourself, positive and negative, coming into complete balanced symphony of our life. Wow. I love this card. I love this card so much. Just look at that, man. And isn't that what it's all about? Oh, Lori just said my voice is breaking up. I'm hoping I'm back in order. I'm hoping so, guys. Can you guys hear me? I'm going to keep going and hope that you can hear me. Can understand. Okay. Thank you, Lori. The frequency of integration supports our embrace. We have to embrace it of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. I'm happy that card came out because we're about to, hey, Seeker, hello, hello. We are about to talk about perception then. I was thinking about going into the physics, which I might touch a little bit about physics. But being on the antibiotics that I'm on, it's like, oh, can you explain the physics well enough, Court? So I will think about talking about that for a moment. But going from this card, number 30 of integration, all aspects of ourselves we embrace. And we're going to be talking about this a lot on our Patreon class tonight as well. So, how many of you, hands in the air, you don't have to probably show me, but hey, how many of you still have aspects about themselves that's like, whoa, that could be perceived as negative? Yeah. And then we got some really good stuff. Hands in the air. Yeah. The balanced symphony of life. We learn a lot in Toth that if there weren't for the negative, there wouldn't be the positive. If there weren't for these things of like the archons, there wouldn't be the eons. There wouldn't be. Same within us. But we do have to, we balance those. And it's how we perceive them. So we're going to just talk a lot about perception here. Within ourselves, because obviously they want me to talk about it. Let's just, I'm going to randomly, maybe I'll try to choose a negative of myself. Okay. In one of the videos was last week, I did say, hey, I have the potential to be a workaholic. I do. I very much do. And I know this about myself. It does take self-awareness that we embrace. I know this about myself. But even knowing it, I can start getting into that propulsion that we talked about weeks and weeks ago. Like, let's say I start working a lot. I'm real focused. I then stay in that groove. And it's hard for Cortney to get out of that groove because Cortney can very much be a workaholic. Both of my sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, they're all very workaholic signs. I can get into that zone. And guys, I can work from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30, 10:30 at night, nonstop. That's what Cortney can do, right? Without even consciously going, hey, pull back, because you get into that propulsion of things. You get into that movement of things. It happens with all of us in some various shape or another. Some it's spending. Oh, you start the spending and the spending keeps going, and then you finally have to buckle down and go, nope, no spending. Or I have to finally go, nope, you're not working, Cortney. You turn the phone off, computer down, no work in sight, right? But it's because of the propulsion and also our perception. Because something within me that can be perceived as negative will start telling me, oh my goodness, just do the next task. You can get this next task out of the way. Just do the next task. And I'm not perceiving, oh, that can be done tomorrow. Or, hey, you need to actually relax. I'm not perceiving it. I'm not paying attention. I'm not looking at the amount of work that I'm doing in a day. I'm not comprehending it. Because perception is actually comprehension. Now we do got to talk about physics. Perception is actually comprehension. And isn't comprehension leading into conscious levels? Oh my goodness, how all things are related. Hello, Milky Way. So, perception is actually related to comprehension. We'll talk a bit about physics. So, kind of like how the Matrix goes, bend this spoon. This spoon actually doesn't even exist. You can do whatever you want with this spoon. It's the same for us. And this, guys, this is what Toth was all about on this past Friday. You all see me here, right? And there has to be, as we learn in the Emerald Tablets, there has to be some reaction, rejection, transference, something. There's a lot of words that we can use, okay? For you to see me and for me to see you. So let's just imagine the chair that you're sitting on or the chair in front of you, right? We have to see that, and our mind automatically, very fast, without us knowing, comprehends that's a chair. So therefore that chair exists. But when we break it down in the physics side of things and break it down to the very small neutrons, the matter, going back to Toth, form out of the formless. When we break it down physics-wise, matter, little baby neutrons, let's say that, little baby, there is the, what did they call it? It was the ball matter test, the slit test. That's what it was called. The slit test. That I might actually attach a video to this afterwards so you can know it better than I can explain right now. They shot a whole bunch of little balls of matter, little neutrons, through one slit of a board onto another board on the other side to see how would they line up. They lined up right on that. And we could see that, right? Perfect. Well, then they put another slit in the board and shot the same amount. Okay. One side, on the other side. We could see it, right? Okay. This is all logical. This all makes sense. Well, then they tried to do one with waves, like water waves, sound waves, brain waves. That's why I'm using all these wave terms, okay? So when there was one wave going out across one slit, okay, it made one light shine across the other board. But let's say they put 2 slits in there and they brought the wave out. Because there were 2 slits together in a wave, it actually multiplied what we saw. As far as like light appearing on the other board, that's how we were calculating it, right? So take note of that. When 2 become 1, and there's brain waves, there's water waves, there's energy waves, music waves. This really does relate a lot to the Emerald Tablets revealed on Friday. And if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch it. This is kind of like a little bit extra from that. When 2 are present, we get many, many things, that lines we can see. And then in this slit test, I went, okay, this is fascinating. We're learning all this stuff. This is fascinating. Let's go back to the 1 slit, right? Let's go back to the 1 slit. But let's see, we're going to put a camera right in front of all these little neurons that we're going to shoot out through the slit, and it should just make one row so we can see. But then they put a camera right in front of it. And when they shot the neurons across through the slit, those neurons decided to do whatever the hell they wanted. They did I think they did multiple lines, if I remember correctly. The difference was somehow those little baby neurons' energy form out of the formless knew someone was observing, knew because that camera was there, knew that someone was seeing upon them, knew there was perception, knew there was sight. And they did a whole different thing, as if they knew they were being watched, right? As if they knew. This is some fascinating stuff. I actually will put maybe a cute little video in the description here. Same goes for us. So the only reason we see a chair is because our brain immediately comprehends it as a chair. Form out of the formless. The only reason you see me right now is because you have already conceptualized that I'm a brunette with brown eyes. That's how it works. Now, okay. So how does that play into the whole concept of perception that we are talking about with going into 5D? Well, we're going back to that interesting, this is a spoon. Well, this is a pen, but okay, this is a pencil. I'm going to use the matrix again. So this is a pencil right here. Does this pencil actually exist in form? I'm touching it. Or is it only that way because I'm viewing it and you're seeing it through the screen right now? Because I'm observing these little neutrons, these little balls of matter. Am I only able to touch it and work with it as a tool because I'm perceiving it? I'm looking at it. My mind automatically comprehends, okay, this is a pencil. But what if I completely let go of that? I completely let go of that. And that's where we get the concept of the matrix. Bend the spoon. It is only little electric balls of energy that come together. And it can be however you see it as. It can move. You can manipulate it however you see it as. So before I keep going, let's go back to the card for a moment that clearly they wanted me to talk about. 30, integration. All is all. You, my lovely beings, you beautiful stars, you lovely children of the light. You are the sum of all of your parts, good, bad, or indifferent right now. Parts change, aspects change of ourselves. We grow, we mature. We're no longer 6-month-old babies anymore. But you are the total of the sum of your parts. And you are a part of the all. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. Using the word perceive there, what we perceive as positive, what we perceive as negative. What if we just perceived it differently? Like me with the workaholic thing. A lot of people, trust me, my husband's like, oh my gosh, please take a break. Please take a break, Cortney. Put the phone down. He perceives it as damaging to me. I perceive it as I'm getting my job done. I'm working, right? How I have to perceive it in myself is, oh, you're out of balance. We have to restore the balance. It's all perception. Because for a lot of people, they see it as, that's negative. For me, I love working, guys. I really do. I'm not normal in the head for most people. I love working. But I also know that I can work too much and it unbalances me. So it's how I have to perceive it. Do I love doing it? Yep. Do I know that I can do it too much, too hard, too fast, out of balance, out of sync? Yep. Do I embrace these qualities of myself? Am I aware of it? How does it balance out with anything positive with me? Well, positive in me is, man, I am a damn good worker. Positive is like with this event, everyone's going to have a very lovely time. I can't wait. You know, I love giving back to the community. Positive, negative. Within somebody that shops a lot, that spends a lot of money, especially in spurts, like binge shopping, as I brought up before, perceived as very negative, very, very negative. But I know a lot of people that do that and then they are able to pull back and then they're never without. There's never, oh shit, this is not in the store because they have some. So it depends on how we perceive the positives and negatives within us. It's how we perceive matter. This pencil, is it even a pencil? And now let's talk about the whole full scope of why I really needed to give this message. So much to perception from internal views of ourselves, which I said we're going to be talking even more, much more about that at the Patreon class tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're starting our spiritual development classes, guys. And everybody, I put a poll out there and everybody said, we want to know about higher frequency, how to obtain it. Yeah, we're starting that tonight. But the main perception that we want to talk about right now from, okay, physics. Is this pencil or not a pencil? Doesn't really matter. It can be whatever the hell I want it to be because I form out of the formless, as we learn in Emerald Tablets Revealed every Friday. I can form out of the formless. And hell, I'm formless. Remember, we learn this every Friday. I'm formless. You're formless. Everybody's formless. And physics even tells us that. The only reason you are in a form is because I am perceiving you as in a form. And my mind automatically goes, oh, That's what Robert looks like. Oh, that's what Lori looks like. Oh, that's Chloe right there. That's Shelly. That's the only reason. You are formless, beautiful energy beings. You are the stardust. You are space born. So, but we want to reference this to at the beginning that we were talking about all this energy that we're working with, the waters. Whew, the overwhelming feeling. We are in creation. We are creating. We are creating. We are creating. What are we going to birth come the end of September into October? Is it going to be what they want us to perceive? Is it going to be as we think we see the world? I mean, that's how this only happens. We are only manifesting and creating because other beings understand physics, understand inner perception, and understand how matter happens. It's the only thing. It's the only. So what are we going to create? What are we going to see? I keep saying, don't lose focus. Don't lose the focus. Keep your eyes set on the prize, eyes set on the goal. And for some of us, it's going to look different in all sorts of ways. Some of us, it is we have to go inward and embrace the negative and the positive so we can accept our whole self, so we can move forward. And I'll give you guys a little hint. I was definitely told that I have to start at the acceptance part for our first class of spiritual development. Acceptance. So we can start working our way up more of the frequencies and the conscious levels. So that's where we're starting tonight as we talk about some other stuff. That is what integration is all about. Accepting, embracing what we see as negative and positive within ourselves, knowing we will be able to change it because we are formless, and embracing it, making that into a balance, the symphony of life. And what we learned on Friday, are you life or are you existence? That's always the question. Are you life or are you existence? So, is it the inward perception that we need to work on? Is it the outward perception of all? I don't, honestly, guys, I don't even know what's happening in the world. I really don't. I tell myself like, hey, you need to, I don't know, watch the news or talk to somebody, and then I just keep forgetting, and it's very odd. It's not odd, and other people do talk about this that are very much in 5D, because I'm in 5D. I'm not even really in 3D anymore. But what it is, it's not that we can't see 3D. It's just we got such a lens kind of over things, and we don't see what other people are seeing, and we don't take it in. It's we're working at a different frequency. We're working on when I watch something, there's not really judgment. There's compassion there, but there's definitely not judgment. There's not, I don't see good or bad. I don't see, yeah, it's interesting. I know one person that kind of refers to it as like, it's as if you're looking at 3D with like kind of rose colored glasses, but not like Pollyanna, but like just, there's like a film over it. Like you're not engaged in any way. And I will tell you that's my life. So I can't really speak about like politics, and I don't know if the war is still happening. I don't know what's going on. That kind of thing, though, that is all based on perception. That is all based on perception. Are you perceiving it? Are you taking it in and comprehending it as they are trying to teach, give you that narrative? Are you seeing it the way that they are choosing for you to see? Or are you completely starting to be like, ain't nobody right and ain't nobody wrong? None of this, this can change like that. All sorts of, I mean, just, I don't even perceive it. Perception. Remember, we have to see it in order for it to exist. We've learned this many times over with the Emerald Tablets. We have to see it in order for it to exist. So let's talk about what we're birthing. Yay! 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 This is why people do like vision boards and sit for a long time meditating. Daydreaming, guys. I love daydreaming. Just daydream. Shoot, just daydream. Just sit back. If the weather's good, go outside, let that sun shine on you, and just sit back and daydream about what you want, because you deserve it all. Just daydream. Like, oh, I've got 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Oh, what's that look like? What's that feel like? Oh, I'm talking to that many people. Oh man, and then that quickly turns into 1,000. Oh, and that, just keep going and going. Just daydream about all the blessings and greatness that is you. That's one of the best ways, because when we see it, it exists. Existence is perception. And it's interesting because then you said, oh, Cortney, you just said the formless is existence. Because once you get into a level of consciousness, you can understand that if you're formless, you can become form anytime you want and change whatever perception is going on. So first you have to come away from the form that is what people are perceiving of this world. You have to come away from the form of, oh, I'm just so negative. There's no balance there. And become formless in your thoughts and in your manners and in how you perceive things. Because then once you wrap that fully around your head, you know the power of your perception, and you can take all of the formless and turn it into whatever form you want. Hence what we're going to be trying to birth. Pumping in the good energy, pumping in the light, pumping in the love, and creating the life that we want. And it can all be birthed into the land in the next few months. Starting now for the next 7 to 8 months, especially towards the end of September and October, it is up to us as to what happens. Where are you going to be living? What world are you living in? What life are you living? What blessings are bestowed upon you? What do you see? What do you see? Because it can only exist if we see it. The resistance has to be there. I cannot form out of the formless unless I'm seeing it. The resistance has to be there, and the resistance happens right in here. Right in here. From my sight to the object that I am forming. From my sight to the goals and dreams that I am creating. My sight to all of it. My sight of the world. I sit around all the time thinking about how beautiful the new earth is. How beautiful, how unified we all are. How there is no lack, how there is no judgment. How there's tons of fresh water, great water, fresh greens and vegetables aplenty. How we're all healthy and happy and beautiful. I sit around all the time, seeing it. So that is the 5D, guys. However you need to do it for you right now. Does it have to become an inside personal thing? Accepting and embracing that you are the total of the sum of your parts, good, bad, and indifferent. We don't judge within ourselves. We embrace and go, okay, this is my form of right now. I know I'm headed into becoming formless, and therefore then I can create I can reform myself. Or are you still on the physics aspect? Which I get, man. The whole spoon in the matrix blew everybody's mind. But every single one of us has that power. This pencil is only a pencil because I see it as a pencil. So your house, what you're sitting on, the way you look, everything can change if you begin to focus your vision on seeing it differently. That's how matter works. Or is it at a bigger, grander scale? What am I birthing for myself? What am I seeing? What am I daydreaming? What am I creating for myself, my loved ones, and then collectively the world? It is all perception. It is all perception. And how our minds immediately have cognition, recognition, and understand what that is. I recognize that as a chair. Okay, that's a chair. I got to tell you guys something. I actually knew, well, I knew of a professor. This is a long time. Well, I shouldn't say I knew of it. My father knew of a professor. So this was back in the 70s. I'm not saying this was right. I am not saying at all this is right. But there was a professor that, with his own children, decided to kind of run some social experiments. Let's say it is a chair. But what if you raise that child to not call it a chair, but call it a table? Or not call it a chair, call it that now it's a cup. So the entire world calls that a chair, but you're now telling your child that's actually a cup. How does that change our perception? How does that change our understanding? That was what that professor was trying to grasp. I will tell you right now, it doesn't matter what the name is. It doesn't matter what we call it. It doesn't matter if we call it insecurities, fears, war, judgment, self-esteem, love, peace, harmony. It doesn't matter what we call it. It matters how we see it. And I know I always say words are powerful. But nothing is as powerful as creating form out of the formless. Nothing is. And the only reason those words are powerful is because we attach it to the forms. The only reason that chair is called a chair is because it's what we've always called it. So what if we're creating something all new? Are words as important as our sight? No. No. We call it in through sight. We call it in through sound as well. The heart vibrations. So let's not get all fixated as to the words and the propaganda and the fears and insecurities, because we can see it differently at any time, no matter what the word is. No matter what the word is. Words are powerful. They're very, very powerful. But like I said, they're powerful because it's our tool to help us comprehend what we're trying to perceive. That's why. That's why. It's our tool to comprehend what we're trying to perceive. And our perception is creation. Whew. So, spend some time today, lovely people. Spend some time with yourself. What do you want? What do you want to use your perception? Do you want your house to look different? Start seeing it different. You want this world to look different? Start seeing it different. You want your career to look different? Start seeing it different. You want your bank account to look different? Start seeing it different. Seeing it different. And the consistency with that, seeing it different. That's what we're asking for. As we go further into 5D, because remember, as we also learn in the Emerald Tablets, 5, remember Lord 5, conscious level 5, 5D, 5th cycle, consciousness from above. We've already covered so much of this in the Emerald Tablets. Actually, I'm going to grab it right here so I can read it real quick. I'm going to grab it real quick to remind everybody what 5 is. 5, 5, 5. 5 is the master, the Lord of all magic, key to the word that resounds among men. The master of all magic, form out of the formless. And it does say the word there. That will definitely come up later in more Emerald Tablets revealed, but also know that is the power of the word. We use our words to recognize and comprehend what we are creating from form out of the formless. This is called a pencil. If it was called something else, but yet was still in the shape and as a tool of a pencil, we would just be calling it something else. We'd be still forming it in our perception as we look at it, all these little molecules coming together to form matter. We'd still be looking at it as a pencil. Regardless if I call this a fork. We're going to talk about the power of word in the 5D later, but that is how it works. Let's say you want to create something completely new, completely, absolutely new, and it doesn't even have a word. Create a word. You have that power. Put a word to it, picture it, make it happen, create out of all of the little energy and molecules into matter. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my, well, now 52 minutes of a brief message. Once again, tonight is the first of the spiritual development courses. It's going to take some of this kind of stuff here and start breaking down into more chewable, more digestive chunks. So those in those Patreon classes, there's a link in the description, $5, $8. Come join us tonight. It's the first class. So people can really start digesting this at a much smoother pace and smoother way. Therefore, they can understand first you embrace and accept all of yourself, to release that and become formless, to then recreate form. Yeah, guys, and it's all going to be done with understanding higher consciousness levels, which is higher frequencies. I love you all. Spend some time, daydream. I know what some of your guys' goals are. I do. And even if you don't fully know the goals, start with the little goals. Hey, I want to, I don't know, lose 20 pounds. See yourself with those pounds gone. Hey, I know I need to relocate. Picture the place you're moving to. Hey, I need money for this. Start adding zeros. When you look at your bank account statement or, you look at what's in there, just picture another zero sitting right there, right? So that's how we do it. Form of the formless. All is perception. It really is. I don't even know what more to say. Physics will even tell you that. All will tell you that. Toth tells us nonstop. We just got to change our perception. We got to see things the way we choose to see it, not as how it's being told to us. That's how we create. That's how we're going to birth all this beautiful, magnificent light onto everything. All right, my loves. I will see those Patreons later tonight, 7 p.m. And have a good week, guys. Just have a good week. Spend some time with yourself. It's always best to do that. And balance. Embrace what is perceived as negative and perceived as positive, because there's really no such thing, within you. And allow it to flow in that symphony of your existence, because you are existence. All right. Bye, guys. Love y'all.